What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over my new AR setup. It's changed pretty significantly from the last time I made a video about it, and I find this suits me a lot better. Completely contradicting the last video I made, I think this is a pretty good setup. So just gonna hop into it. Still the Daniel Defense rifle, 16-inch barrel, but now we are rocking a Surefire RC2 and 5.56. It's pretty sick. I was pretty skeptical about suppressors being, actually worth the cost to get into them. Luckily, I was wrong, and I was quite surprised about how about how effective these Surefire suppressors are. I shot this next to a dead air can on an AUG, and this Surefire was it was so much quieter. Everybody else there also attested to it. And then also the dead air can is pretty funny. The dead air chemo mount or whatever failed, and the suppressor ended up hanging off of the guy's gun, and he baffle striked, or he end cap striked his can multiple times, and then he fixed it, and then went to shoot again, and about 4 to 5 rounds later his can was again hanging off, and he shot it again. Luckily he didn't get a baffle strike, but kind of goes to show apparently that's seemingly a thing that happens with the chemo mounts. I'm rocking I'm rocking the muzzle brake under here just because it's a sacrificial baffle and all that, and I'm kind of autistic. But I know it's a 16-inch barrel, probably doesn't need it, but I'm never going to take this thing off. It's been carbon locked on this rifle since I've got it, and I don't ever plan on shooting it off. I kind of was thinking I maybe should have looked into a direct thread can, but I didn't, so this is what I have, and I really don't ever plan on changing it. We're still rocking moving back, we're still rocking the Mod Light PLH. I've been taking a lot of classes with this rifle, and I'll get into this later. But I've been taking a lot of classes with this thing, and so I've started to fully flesh out, kind of what works and what doesn't work. So for the Mod Light, I did a CQB style class, or I did a CQB class with this rifle, exactly how it's set up. And the PLH, I went into a room and I went to, use my light, and with a full battery charge, this thing did not come on. And so that was really cool. I think it's because of the Surefire tail cap. Not the clicky one, it's the cheaper button activated one, whatever it's called, the one without the secondary fire button. From what I understand, that seems to be a problem if this jack gets partially pulled out, even a little bit like that. Let's see if I can get it to do it. Yeah, you see that? I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but the light is flickering as I mess with this. There it goes. As I mess with this tail cap, this plug. So I fully plan on changing this to the more expensive, of course, Surefire tail cap. Seemingly this is a known issue with this. If that doesn't fix it, then it's actually the Mod Light. But I know Modlite seemingly is a pretty good company. I have the Unity, what is this thing called? Whatever this 45-degree Unity button is. I like it. It's pretty comfortable to hit with your thumb. Makes it pretty easy. But it's just kind of large, and I think I'm going to replace it with the flat laying momentary only button. This one has a momentary, like half press, momentary, full press, you know, it stays on. I usually just, I've noticed I'm usually just using momentary, so I plan on switching this out to the momentary only. We're rocking a Magpul Bipod. It's pretty good. I was quite surprised. I actually got it, when I got this rifle, I traded it, and when I got this rifle, this was already on it. And I took it off immediately because I was like, you know, it's kind of gay. It's actually pretty dope. The only thing that I've kind of noticed about it that's a little weird is that if you loosen up this nut on the bottom, you can turn, I mean, I guess it's not weird, it's just something to be aware of. You can turn this, the actual, I don't even know, there's a collar underneath here, and you can rotate that collar, and if you rotate that collar, you'll see it on the side. One side of the collar says lock and the other side says pan. And I accidentally loosened that nut while I was in a class, and I went to tighten up my bipod, and my bipod was locked at like a 45-degree angle, and it was because I got the collar offset and then tightened the nut down, so the bipod was on lock mode at like a 45-degree angle hanging off of my rail. So I had to figure, I didn't know about that, and maybe some people, you know, bought it knowing that, but I didn't. So that was fun to figure out. But luckily I, you know, figured it out. I keep it on pan mode. It's pretty easy to rotate. If you're laying prone, you can loosen it up to where you can, you know, pan with the rifle. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can get it to do it. We'll loosen it up, put it forward, and so yeah, I'm not even really holding the bipod. It pans pretty well, can't and everything. It's got multiple height offsets and stuff like that, so you can level it on pretty much anything. It's a pretty sick bipod. It's pretty light. I was looking at the Atlas ones, but seemingly since this rifle's already pretty retarded heavy, I'm probably not going to use that. I'm probably just going to stick to this. Moving back, I have a Magpul, just standard vertical foregrip. I still hold it like this, but after holding this for a long time, and after taking that CQB class, after literally hours of holding this thing shouldered, I'll end up, yeah, holding it like that, or even, you know, boomer full grip it, because my traps are getting tired, arms are getting tired of holding it in the shoulder position. So that does help. I've also noticed just walking, you know, going on hikes for a long time, holding the rifle like just with my hand like this, canted like this, kind of ends up being uncomfortable. So holding it like this is a lot easier. So I enjoy this. I can take it or leave it, honestly, but I do like it. The only thing up front I plan on changing is when the new EOTech laser comes out. I'm going to date this video, of course. When the new EOTech laser comes out, I'm going to stick it right up here, and it's going to be a very heavy gun, and I don't care. So moving back, we have the Nano T2 tool. I think this is a emissary product. Oh no, it's a multitasker tool. It's a multitasker tool product, and in a emissary group mount. The emissary group mount is pretty not good in my opinion. It's very, I don't know, it's lightweight, and it just seems kind of flimsy. If I was smart and not lazy, I would tie down the nano tool with like a steel thread or something, or steel wire, so I could adjust my T2 and not worry about this falling out of the mount. I haven't had an issue with it. It's just something that kind of I tend to keep track of. I would look down at it while I'm hiking and moving with this rifle and stuff. Moving back, this is kind of where the mass majority of the changes happened, obviously. So we have a primary arms GLX 2.5 by 10 first focal plane with the Griffin reticle. That's the one with the tree, not necessarily a specified ballistic drop compensator. You can use this on any caliber, any barrel length and stuff like that, and make your own drop tree and stuff like that. Pretty cool. Has the ACSS reticle and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. And this is in a Reptilia mount. I was gonna get the Geisley, but first off, it was out of stock, and then looking at the differences, the Reptilia mount is actually pretty superior in my opinion. You can get the canted 45-degree red dot mounts that mount straight into the scope mount and just hangs off the scope or the mount, which is pretty dope. I opted for, since I use night vision still and still went to passive aim since I got rid of my Purst, I'm rocking the T2 up top in a what's it called? I'm rocking the T2 up top in a LaRue mount. If you're wondering about this setup, I was kind of hard to find. I've watched like Barrel and Hatchet's videos and stuff like that. He kind of has a Mark 12-ish setup similar to this one. He has this, the T2 or the red dot, whatever. I think it's like a cheaper red dot. He has it set up in a weird way up here. It's like a scope mount to a Picatinny, and then the T2 or the red dot is Picatinied onto that. So it's kind of like a bolty on a bolty on a bolty. So this one is just a LaRue mount that goes up to a T2 direct mount, and then the T2 just mounts directly onto it. It's been great. It hasn't rotated. I've been pretty rough on this. I've been going prone and crawling with this thing, and this has stayed solid. I mean, it's LaRue. They're a pretty legit company, so not really something you should probably have to worry about. The T2, it does clear the turret, this top turret. It cuts off about a quarter of your line of sight through it, just because how tall this is, but that's just not really a big problem, especially if you're shooting with both eyes open like you should. You're not going to notice it. I've switched from 30 rounders to mostly rocking 20s because, with a bipod, a 30 rounder, it's going to be a rough time. Here, I'll demonstrate. Obviously, let's see, we can see that. So, as you can see, hopefully, the bipod, the magazine stays off the ground, whereas you put a 30 rounder in it, the magazine turns into the hinge point. So we keep 30 rounders in it. Still rocking the B5 stop mod with CR123s in it. Still have the pistol grip, still have the Magpul pistol grip and then inside I've got extra firing pin, extra bolt, extra extractor springs, I think some extra batteries. Pretty sure that's it. But yeah, no, this rifle is pretty sick. I've been, like I said, I've been taking classes with it. I did a CQB class with it, and unfortunately I don't have any footage to show from that. But when I got there, a lot of people were kind of like, that's a cool gun, but you're not going to have a good time with it. And obviously I know that there is a benefit in rocking like a shorter rifle and doing like in-house or indoor stuff or whatever. It's not a debate, but this was not a problem. Like this is so 16 inch barrel, and after the suppressor, I think the Surefire website says it adds 4 inches. So this is like right at 20 inches. Yeah, this is right at 20 inches. And this was not a problem going in and out of doors. It was kind of like an office building setup type thing. And I didn't get stuck. I didn't hit it on anything. if any, it was pretty easy to maneuver. The weight gets to you after. I mean, we were doing stuff for like, you know, quite a while, and at the end of the day, I was like, man, my traps are hurting. But it's, you know, there's a difference between something that's hard to do and like something that you can't do it. And so I could do it. Just after a while, it kind of got a little tiring. But yeah, I mean, this rifle setup has been good. My thought process behind it is, as I've hiked more, as I've went around more and traveled around like my local areas and near where I, you know, live and stuff like that. My last video, I kind of coped and I was like, oh, you know, like red dot magnifier is cool. And, you know, most of the time it is. It probably would be. I'm sure it's fine. Just with me and my autism, if like you and your buddies, if everyone's rocking a red dot, everyone's rocking like a red dot magnifier, everyone's rocking like, you know, an EOTech or something like that. You know, it's good to have a way to see like a steel plate out farther than everyone else with a red dot, especially if the steel plate isn't painted or just gray or maybe even green or anything like that. Having a way to kind of gather information and be able to discriminate better and easier than with a red dot or a pair of binoculars. This doesn't replace a pair of binoculars, obviously, because you have to point the rifle at everything you want to look at. With a pair of binos or a monocular, you can, you know, look wherever you want without, you know, causing people to get upset, obviously. Yeah, this having someone with a good scope, not something like insanely overpowered for what your caliber is, like a 2 to 10, especially like it's seemingly been a trend. Everyone's kind of, if you're putting a scope on an AR, it's like a 10 power, or like Hop, I think, said he wanted like a 12 or 14 or something like that. This is pretty good. It's a pretty good range for it. This scope matched all of my criteria for an optic. I was looking at LVPOs and stuff like that, but LVPOs, like I said in the last one, aren't really my jam. If I want a scope, I'm gonna get like a scope, and if I want a red dot, I want to get a red dot. The 1 power on a LPVO doesn't appeal to me at all, because I'm gonna be running, you know, a T2 on top of it, so it doesn't really matter. The offset on this thing is as you can see, it's quite substantial, but I haven't ever had an issue with it. I've shot, you know, targets up close and far away, and never had an issue with it. But yeah, so I don't really see this changing anytime soon, other than the laser up top. If you're debating on getting a suppressor, it's definitely worth it. It kind of sucks because, you know, the whole, you know, you gotta go get your fingerprints and everything like that. But when it comes, you know, after you do it, you have it, and you're not gonna get anything, you know, you're not gonna get anything like this. You know, you're not gonna get anything around that, you know, without, your little, you know, kind of selling your soul to Satan. So, kind of sucks. It sucks that these are even regulated. It's absolutely absurd to me that, you know, people can go. I can go buy, you know, I can go buy an SKS with, you know, 1,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39, but a, you know, titanium cylinder. A titanium cylinder is a controlled item. It's absolutely absurd. Everybody knows it's absurd. The only people that like it are, like, again, drunk wine moms who don't know what they're talking about. They watch John Wick and they're like, yeah, that's how it is. But yeah, if you're debating on getting a suppressor, definitely worth it. It's pretty great. If you're debating on getting night vision, definitely worth it. I've been wanting to get a new night vision recorder. The one I got, the first one I got was like the cheapest one. I forget who makes it, but it's not very good. The light transmission through it only works like if you're on a flat range. I'll put what it is put what it is, and this isn't meant to be a review of that, but if you're on like a flat range, like with like a full moon and stars, it'll probably be pretty good. It'll probably do all right, but I don't really do that. I'm like out in the woods and hiking at night and stuff like that, and when I want to use it for that, the light transmission is really bad and you can't hardly see anything, so it's pretty much just a waste of time to try to get video through it. So I've been looking at the Brown Bear Industries camera and thinking about getting that, so yeah, pretty cool rifle setup. I need to paint it. Luckily it's covered in mud right now from the last class I took, and I haven't cleaned it, and I think it looks pretty dope. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the build. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. Appreciate you guys watching.
Hey, yo, hold up. This hitting it from the back. He's talking about the old change right now. You know what I'm saying?